Good morning. Happy Wednesday and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you saw on my email that I won't be teaching on Friday since I'll be out of town. But I hope to see everyone on Monday. And then for today, you might want to grab like something for stretching your legs, like a yoga belt. But I have just an old t-shirt I'm gonna use just when we're on our backs and kind of stretching our legs. That might be helpful. So if you want to grab something like that, go ahead, and we're gonna come to a seated position. So just make sure everyone is here and just take your time getting down. Sit on a cushion or um, a blanket or towel or whatever. And yeah, just come to your spot. Rock a little bit from side to side. We've got a couple of people joining, so just going to take a minute to let everybody kind of come down to that seated position. When you're here, you can bring your hands to your knees. Just kind of get comfortable. Bring our core awareness to our core. Just start to take that awareness inward, lengthening through the spine, through the crown of the head. And I think we've got everyone here. Yeah, go ahead and just start to take those waves of breath, starting from our tailbone. Really pressing that belly out. We really want to open up through our rib cage. Inhale, take that breath up to the chest. And then exhale, chest and the belly. And then lengthening through the crown on the inhalation. On the exhalation, gently close your eyes for a few rounds of breath. And just take your awareness to your legs, your hip points, everything that's attached to the mat. Lengthening, creating space in the belly and the chest, the inhalation. And exhale, empty the chest, the lungs, draw that navel in. Just listen to the breath for a few rounds. Every inhalation, lengthening through that crown of the head, filling your belly and your chest up to their full capacity, and then the exhalation, letting those shoulders drop away from the ears. Strong through the core, but then letting those shoulders just release away from the ears. Just a few more breaths here, just letting that breath bring you into the present moment. Feeling calm, centered. And the next exhalation, just releasing any worries, tasks that you're thinking about, your to-do lists. Just let it go for a little while. These last breaths, really pressing that navel away from the body, filling up the lungs, filling up your whole body with oxygen all the way to the crown of that head. That imaginary string is pulling out through the center of the head. Exhale one last time, just releasing the ears. On the next inhalation, gently open the eyes. From here, we're going to just shrug up those shoulders, really press them up towards the ears, really exaggerated motion, and then press them forward. Almost roll them down. One more time, really shrugging them up. Press forward, around, down. Shrug up, we're gonna press back, kind of try to get those shoulder blades to touch. Press down. And lifting up. Try to get those shoulders to touch the ears. Then shoulders going back again. Feel that skin across the chest stretch. Sorry. Press down, pull down, and release. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. We're going to exhale, take that chin towards the chest. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Soften the muscles in the back of the neck and the top of those traps, just letting everything soften in that area. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, maybe letting that chin drop just a tiny bit closer to the chest. Not pressing it, just letting it, gravity kind of pull you into that gentle stretch of the neck. Not letting yourself do anything that's uncomfortable, causes pain. Inhale, up. Exhale, bring that right ear down to that right shoulder. Reach to those left fingertips. And you can leave your hand on your right knee or just reach over. Rest that hand on the left side of the head and soften. Guide that ear towards the shoulder. Just softening to this left side of the neck. We're still lengthening, lifting up, engaged through the core. And release. Inhale up. Exhale, quickly just down, lengthen through the back of the neck. Inhale up. Exhale, bring that left ear down to that left shoulder. Reaching to those right fingertips. And then just reaching that hand around, guiding that ear down. Soften all the way from that ear down to the edge of that shoulder. All the way from here through here. And release. Well, inhale, lengthen to the crown. Exhale, bring that shoulder, chin in. You can bring your hands to your knees and we'll just start to roll that right ear towards that right shoulder. Draw those big circles with the nose. And very gentle, very mindful of how our neck feels. You can close your eyes. And just taking your awareness to every muscle that's softening, stretching. Taking those nice, even breaths. And then once you're at the top, switch directions slowly, carefully, and softening all sides of the neck, front of the throat, and that stretch come all the way up to the chin. And then at the top, just switch directions. Just like a few circles. Whatever speed is comfortable. Nice and slow is usually the best, and then changing directions one more time. And bringing your chin down to the chest. Inhale up, lengthen. And then exhale, bringing those hands forward. It's really grounding down. Walk those hands forward. Take that nose down towards the floor. Softening through the hips. Breathing into those tight areas. Releasing on the exhalation. Pull that navel in towards the spine. See if we can spider crawl those fingers just a little bit further. Soften through the face. Let that tongue be loose in the mouth. And walk those hands over to the right. Reach to those left fingertips. So pulling back through that left hip. Back to center. Walking those hands over to the other side. Reach to those right fingertips. Pull back. Take your awareness to your right hip. Let that feel heavy. Start to feel that opening through the hip, up through the side of the torso. Walk those hands back to center. Just one more breath here. You can bring those elbows down to the floor if that feels good, or even let your head hang. Just continue to just reach, pressing those palms into the floor, the mat. And walk the hands back in. Inhale up, reach for those fingertips, active through the arms. Drop that right hand, we'll grab that right elbow. Lift and lengthen from that right hip through that elbow. And release, reach up. And then drop the other arm. Lengthen through the left elbow. And release, shake out the arms. Reach out to the sides, give yourself a hug. Pull those shoulders down. Tuck the chin. And release out to the sides. Other arm comes on top. Pull those shoulders down. Lengthen the back of the neck. Still lifting through the sternum. And release. Bring our hand down to the right side and then reaching up and over. Just letting those ribs just kind of spread apart here. Thumb back towards the wall behind you. Gentle opening. And then gently bring that left hand down to that right knee. Bring that right hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, taking that gaze towards the back of the room. Lift to the crown of the head. Exhale, deepening that twist. And release, unwind. Come down to that left side, left hand comes down, we're gonna reach up and over. Taking your awareness back to your breath. Pull that thumb towards the back, open up that heart gently and slightly towards the ceiling. And release that hand down, bring that left hand behind, lift, and gaze towards the back. Inhalation, creating space in between those vertebrae, lifting to the crown of the head. Exhalation, draw that navel in, take that gaze just a tiny bit more towards the back of the room. And release, unwind. Then we're going to move from here into a tabletop position. Some padding down, maybe into your knees or wherever is taking your time. Really spreading out those fingers. Knees come under the hips. Pressing down through the tops of the feet. Once you're here, just bring those hips, ease those hips back a little bit, come forward, just give those wrists a stretch. And then we're going to inhale, press that belly down, pull those shoulders back for cow. Exhale, round the back, tucking that tailbone, tucking in the chin. Inhale, press that belly down for cow. And exhale, rounding that back, drawing that navel in, pulling that up towards the ceiling. And just at your own pace, taking a few more rounds of that cat-cow. Inhaling on the cow face position, exhaling to cat. Just warming up the spine, starting to wake up all those muscles from the tailbone, all the way to the neck. Back to a neutral position. From here, we're going to press back through those right toes, through through the heel. Soften to the calf muscle. Take your awareness to the inner thigh and lift. Level off those hips. And staying here, adding that left arm. And then lifting up through that core, through that navel. It's drawing into the spine. Just a few more breaths. Carrying you through the pose. And release. And from here, just ease those hips back. And coming forward. Just a few times. And that length growing in the spine. Forward through the crown of the head, easing back. And then taking this, coming back to a neutral position, push those hips out to the left. Releasing any tension, stress in the hips. Inhale back, just press them to the other side. Stay here for a moment, kind of back and forth. And just one more time over to the left. And over to the right. And then come back to a neutral position. We're going to press back through our left heel. Soften to the calf, just gently kind of rocking back and forth, and then taking that awareness to the inner left thigh. Inhale, lift off those hips. And stay here or reach that right hand. Pressing down to the top of that right foot, spreading those fingers on the left hand. One more breath. And release. Bring those knees towards the edges of the mat. And we'll just soften back, press to the palms, and just let that forehead come down to the mat. Extended child's pose. Let everything soften and release for a breath or two. Just let that heart melt towards the mat. You can roll your forehead from right to left here if that feels good. You can massage the forehead. And just a few more breaths here, just letting everything go. Everything releases, melts into the mat. And gently come back up. And from here, we're just going to take that right arm and just slide that under the left. Bring that shoulder down. We're going to reach forward with that left arm and just let that right shoulder melt and release. Pressing to that left palm and allowing that right shoulder to just melt, soften. Breathe into the belly. And bring that left arm and press up. And then we'll just take the other side, just thread that needle, bring that left arm underneath the right, press forward with that right arm, right palm, and then let that left shoulder release and soften into the mat. And press through that right palm, press up. And we'll just come down to the belly. Bring those palms underneath the shoulders, pressing down the tops of the feet, the quads, hip points, the palms. And then from here, inhaling, just peeling that chest up off the mat. Be careful, mindful of the low back. Maybe with your next inhalation, just coming a little bit further, really strengthening that back. We've got everything engaged. Everything's pressing down, engage those glutes, hamstrings. And release. Bring your right cheek on top of those hands, bend the knees, and kind of rock back and forth. Window wash those legs, massage the tops of the quads. And those legs go, legs go fall back down, flop back down. Bring those arms forward and work our way into Sphinx pose. So you probably know where you're comfortable here. Never doing anything that feels uncomfortable on your low back. We're still engaging to those legs, glutes, pressing into those forearms, palms, rising up into that Sphinx pose. One more easy breath here. And release back down, taking that other cheek to the top of the hands, bend those knees, and rocking. We can watch those legs. And that massage on the top of the quads, top of the hips. That loosening of the low back. And drop the legs. Slide those hands underneath the shoulders. I'm going to press up. Move it if you need to out of the way. And then come to that tabletop. I'm going to tuck those toes, spread out those fingers, and lengthen through those legs. Into that downward facing dog, start to pedal out the feet. Checking your hands, your fingers spread out. Is there pain in your wrists? Your ears up by your biceps. Pressing to those heels, either into the mat or above. Bending those knees softly and then lengthening. And walking those feet up to the hands. Feet are hip width apart. Press through all four corners of the feet. Grab opposite elbows and then sway from side to side for ragdoll. Soften through the neck. Strong through the legs, and then letting the top part of the body just be loose. So really feel that stretch through the hamstrings, a little through the calves. And it's really important to maintain your lower mobility in your lower back. So it's really good to first just check in with your back here. Drop those hands. And then we'll just float or just step carefully back with that left foot and come to a lunge. And softly bring that back knee down. And here we're going to inhale up. And then kind of softening those hips forward. Pulling that right hip crease back. Mindful of our breathing as we're breathing nice and even. Release the arms and bring those to the tops of the knee, and just to the hips. And then go ahead and move those hands down to either side of the foot. And soften that right leg, just lengthen, walk those hands back into a half split. We're softening through the back of that right hip, or right knee, sorry. Toes point towards the ceiling. And then bringing those hips forward, coming back into that lunge. Just walk those hands to either side of the foot. Notice any difference in the hips. You're feeling a little bit more loose. And then Once again, straightening that front leg, walking those fingers back. Come into that half split runner stretch. And you don't have to come all the way down, just try to keep a nice straight back, maybe just here on those fingertips. We're using something as a block. I'm trying to keep that left hip over that left knee. And release. Come forward. Right hand comes to the inside of the foot, heel to that towards the edge. We'll stay here for lizard. We can walk those hands out to the left, bow down, kind of like a downward facing dog movement in the top part of the body here. And if you're there, walking those hands back. One more breath here, softening to that hip flexor. And then hand comes to the outside, heel to the foot back to center. Tuck the toes. And from here, we're going to come into crescent pose. So just coming, pressing to that back heel, and then making sure this front leg is strong before you come up. So really engaging that core. Inhale up. Bring those hands to the knees, or bring those up. Pulling those shoulders down. Lifting to that back hamstring, strong through the legs. And release the arms down, straighten through those legs. Bring that back heel down, and then line up for triangle pose. Inhale out those arms, and then just hinging at the waist. Grab that shin, ankle, foot, mat. Just whatever allows you to sort of feel like your joints are stacked and helps you feel stable. Really pulling, drawing, and navel towards the spine. Pressing through those feet. Those legs are engaged and working. And drop that left arm. We're going to inhale up. Take those toes towards the side of the mat. Those big toes might just come in a little bit. We want the outsides of the feet parallel with the outsides of the mat. Hands come to the hips. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, coming forward. Bring those hands down, and if you need to heel to those feet further apart or closer together, go ahead and do that. And then we're pressing through those legs again, sucking up those kneecaps. You can grab your ankles if you'd like to pull your nose towards the mat. It's not necessary, just an option. And then go ahead and just slightly bend that right knee. Taking a deeper stretch here. You can walk those hands over. Or maybe just stay here, just slightly bending that knee. And straighten. Bend that left knee. Walking over, coming a little deeper, just staying right here. Just bring back to that right knee. Walking those hands back, left knee's bent. Back to center. And we're going to inhale up slowly. Bring the head up very last. Being very mindful of feeling any dizziness. Just going right back down if you ever feel that way. Slowly, mindfully. And then once we're at the top, just taking those heels in. And start center, we're going to lower those hips for goddess. Stay here, or if you like, you can always lift those heels together or alternate, whatever's the most fun for you. And release, straighten those legs, release the arms. And then we'll just come up, face the back of the mat. We'll just come into that lunge with that left leg in front this time. And then softening that knee down. Press the top of the foot into the mat and we'll just inhale up those arms. Pull back through that left hip crease. Soften the hips, pull the shoulders away from the ears. Release the arms, bring those down to the knee or to the hips. And release those hands down. Soften those hips forward for a breath. And then transitioning into that runner stretch. So inhaling, lengthening, and then coming down. Toes up towards the ceiling. You can adjust here. And then bring those hips forward, soften those hips forward. Deep breaths, soften your gaze. And then straightening that front leg one more time, coming into that runner stretch. Soften to the back of that left knee. And then bring those hips forward. Bring that hand to the inside of the foot, heel to that out to the edge. Come into that lizard pose. Stay here. Or option to bring those hands out to the side. Forehead, chest, or melting that heart down towards the mat. Softening to that hip flexor. Just stay here. And release. Bring that foot back to center. And then tuck those back toes straight into that back leg. We're lift through that hamstring. Pulling that navel in and then coming up. Hands to your hips or up here. Pull the shoulders down. Legs are strong, core strong. And then dropping the arms straight into the legs. Bring that back, heel down, line up for triangle. So heels in front of that arch. Inhale at the arms, elbows just hinge at the hips. Wrap that shin, ankle, foot. Pressing through those feet, engaging those quads. If you're feeling really stable here, you can always look up towards the ceiling. Put your hand. And bring your awareness back to your breath. And release, bend that left knee. Come down to that lunge, bring that back knee down. Inhale up, bring those knees together. Thumbs into the back. And then just pressing, engaging those glutes, and then sort of just opening that chest, elbows back. And if you'd like, you can kind of take that gaze up. And release. Come to a seated position. Bring those legs out in front of you. Sit on something. And pressing down into the sides of our hips with our hands. Inhale up, and then pulling that heart forward. Grab the shins, ankles, the feet. Feel like you can grab something, wrap that around the balls of the feet. Pull that navel towards the spine and bring that nose a tiny bit closer to the knees or the shins. And release. And slowly come up. Bring the balls of the feet together. Konasana. Grabbing those feet. Tall breath in. And then bringing that nose down towards the floor in front of you. Press those knees away from the body. And release. Come up, straighten that right leg, bring that foot in. And just rotate, slide those hands down. And the shin, ankle, foot, or alternatively, we'll just grab something here, wrap it around the ball of the foot. Pull that heart forward. And watch the breath, observe the breath. And release, just switch legs. Turn towards a lengthened leg, slide those hands down, grab a shin, ankle, foot. Makeshift yoga strap. Pull the heart forward. And release. Lengthen that right leg. Cross those hips forward for a deeper stretch. We'll bring those hands in front and just walk those forward. Awareness to the breath. Nice deep, even breaths. We're breathing into those tight areas. Softening. Pressing through the heels. Engaging those quads. And lock those hands in, bring those legs together. From here, grab the backs of the thighs. We're just gonna roll back, roll out that back, massage areas. Put those knees in there from side to side. Or you can always take those knees in circular motions. Just hug those in towards the chest. Drop that left foot. Lengthen through that right leg just for a breath. And then bring that ankle to that left knee. Press that right knee away. Stay here, grab the back of that left thigh. You can stretch or straighten that leg for a second. Rebend. See if that helps deepen that stretch in the hip. And release that foot down. And straighten that right leg again. And then here's where you might want to use a yoga strap or something. You don't have to, but wrap that around the ball of the foot if you have it. And let's just grab the sides of your legs, back of the hamstring. And we're going to open up to the side. And then, once again, if you don't have a strap or something, you just grab your leg here, by the knee. It's kind of helpful to have the strap sometimes to just grab onto. Let that leg just release out to the side. Want this left knee still straight up towards the ceiling. And inhale up. And then straighten that left leg. We'll just switch sides. And it doesn't have to come very far over. And feel that stretch through the hamstring all the way through that hip. And release. Bring that leg up. Bring that left leg. Release the strap. Bring that foot down. And I'll reach up through that left leg. And then bring that knee to that. Bring the ankle to that right knee. And staying here, grabbing back up that right hamstring, straighten out and kind of deepen that stretch here, keeping those feet flexed. And release that right foot down. Straighten that left leg. Grabbing the back of the hamstring, sides of the feet, or just again grabbing something around the ball of the foot. And open that leg out to the side. Just pressing through that heel. And inhale up, straighten that right leg, bring that across the body. And it could be up here, maybe you're all the way down here. Anchor your elbow. And then coming back up. Bend that right knee, release, bring this left foot down. Hug those knees in one last time. And then just lengthening into Shavasana. Just adjusting your shoulders. Whatever you need to release into the mat. Maybe put a blanket over your body, or socks on, sweatshirts. And then open those palms up to the ceiling. Take a big breath into the belly. Release. Close the eyes. And just melt down. Start to follow the breath. And softening into the mat. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, release. All the muscles, joints. Let everything soften. Start to soften through the face, the muscles around the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. Release. Tongue is loose in the mouth. The next exhalation, allow the shoulders to melt and soften into the mat. And then down to the arms, biceps, triceps, forearms, hands, fingers. All the muscles in the arms widen and soften and release. And soften down from the shoulders down, the back. Let that low back, the glutes, the hamstrings all melt. Widen and soften. Back to the knees, the calf muscles release. Ankles, the feet, the toes. All the muscles soften and widen. Just continue to follow your breath. Breathing in relaxation. And the exhalation is releasing a little bit more into the pose, into the mat. Softening a little bit more with every exhalation. slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head from side to side. Take a big breath. Bend your knees. Roll over to the right side of your body. And then just slowly press yourself up to seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. And the next inhalation, gently open the eyes. Blink a few times. Namaste. Well, thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you saw, I think I mentioned that Be No Yoga on Friday. But since tomorrow is Thanksgiving, I just wanted to say how thankful I am for everyone that shows up for class and still practices with me. I'm just really thankful to be able to still teach you after all this time. So it means a lot to me. So thank you and have a great Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Sarah.